Red lights on, episode 36 of Rangers of the Grid. It's Richard, it's Marcus, and what up, dog?
What's up, man? Episode 36. We on that Jerome Bettis.
We on that something, right? We on that something. The holidays, the holidays have kind of passed, even though we haven't hit the new year yet. Christmas is done and gone. I'm about to take down all the decorations this weekend.
Yeah,
Take down all the stuff for Christmas. Huh?
we're in that like weird in between time of Christmas and New Year's where no one knows what day it is.
Mm-hmm.
They're just kind of like floating around. And
And
what you
then,
got to
on Sunday, I don't know if you know this, but it's gonna be isn't 1, 2, 3 the
Yeah,
dates,
yeah.
and everybody gonna be playing that Ray J with that other fool that never really made it. I don't really know the rapper, but I know 1, 2, 3. That song was
No,
hella
it's one
popular.
four three.
Oh yeah, 1, 4, 3. It'd be better
One
if it was
four.
1, 2, 3.
Nah, that
Drop
you think it's
drop
Sierra
something.
dog with that 1-2 step.
You know what? That makes so much sense because you know not Power Rangers, but time that off right now, man. I've been able to watch so much sports,
Mm-hmm.
and all I hear about is Russell Wilson right now. So
Well, yeah, dude. He's benched. He backup.
yeah,
Carlton got
it,
put on backup.
it's also controversial, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they asked him to take something out of his contract after beating the Chiefs. He told them no, and they told him if you don't do that, you're going to get benched. And look at here we are.
Oh well.
You know what I mean? Like, I just think you're still going to pocket 150 million for playing 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And they're screwed. And if I'm him, I'm like, please release me before June 1st so I can pocket another 37.
All right.
Please release me.
All right.
Yeah. But it is what it is. Like, hey, this is a business. This is why I don't ever get mad at players for leaving teams.
No, well, you shouldn't. You
It's
should. It's
business.
ridiculous. It
It's
is.
a it's a
It's
business, man.
ridiculous.
They use you too. It's mutual.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's just funny.
Mm-hmm.
With all this time off, man, I've been watching. I feel like getting up with our puppies. So certain time now, from like
Mm-hmm.
6 to 11, I got ESPN on. The
Yeah.
Get Up, First Take, Pat McAfee show.
Mm. So you very well versed and caught up.
Oh yeah, it's great. I like First Take. I don't know.
Oh, it's great.
My boy
It's great.
Shannon. My wife got to see some of Shannon Sharp, and she just like, what's this big old dude on TV in a plaid suit for?
Yeah, I'm telling
Now,
you, hey, that was OG Barney. He looked like that original Barney suit before they curved out the face, like with them sharp edges and the like, bro, that's Shannon Sharp.
I just told her, I go, I do miss him though when he was on Undisputed to say, Gip.
Yeah, skip. Believe me, skip. I gave everything I had. I gave you everything I had. And speaking of, I sent you that clip. You know that I told you, dude,
What?
of him, Ocho Cinco, and T.O.
Oh, I love
That
that.
was
Wait,
uh
wait, the one talking about bedroom stuff?
yeah.
That wasn't T.O. That
Who
was
was it?
Prime.
Oh, it was Prime.
Yeah, that's Prime.
Oh, damn, I thought it was T.O.
No, dog. Hey, man.
I thought
Hey,
it was
dog.
T.O. because I just
Hey,
saw Ocho
man.
Ocho
You
Cinco.
get
I
you getting
remember.
away with it right now. You getting away with it, But I guess brothers all look alike.
Hey, dog. That was more of a watch clip. That was more of like a listening. Okay, you know. Sorry.
uh,
I just remember from back when. Remember when they had that show?
hmm
Oh, they all of them had a show at one point. Anyway.
hmm Dude, Shannon be having all the shows. He does
Hmm.
First Take and then does his like late night show.
Yeah.
Well, Ocho, my favorite is Ocho always asks him, so when you gonna get me on ESPN? When you gonna get me on ESPN? And he's like, I just got on ESPN.
I talked to Stephen A about that.
hmm But
Mr.
anyways, Marcus, can you tell us how our YouTube numbers are doing?
We got one follower.
Okay, but hey,
We
Instagram's
gained
going
one.
great.
We gained one. Yeah,
IG's going great.
Instagram's freaking awesome. Instagram blowing
Yeah.
up, which is cool. Which hey, I guess that's like the main one people, but still, it's like just wish those numbers. That,
Translate.
yeah.
Yeah, there's something off air we'll talk about. I have a good idea. I don't want to say it on air, but
Okay.
yeah. But the main episode of today,
Yep.
the main episode today is we wanted to talk about the return of the Green Ranger. All right. And this is season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's just let out like feelings of when we were young when this happened. I will start off just because it's visible in my head. Dude, when this happened, and I feel like you knew ahead of time what was going on with like a
Mm-hmm.
preview. So much so that my dad made sure we had blank tapes on the VHS,
Blank
right?
tapes.
We had them blank tapes ready, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And because we recorded it.
Mm-hmm.
I think we still might have it somewhere. And by the way, how cool is this, bro? They don't get it like this anymore, which is kind of sad. From February 20th, 1995 to February 22nd, 95. We got 3 straight.
Dude, I miss those days.
Isn't that wild?
'Cause that's how it always used to be.
That was just like normal.
You used to get those ones during the weekday. You get those episodes during the weekday, and then of course the Saturday episode.
Yeah.
Dude, it was so sick. Like Rangers all the time, dog.
All the time, bro. And it's just funny because like looking back now, I don't know if kids will ever get that again.
No. I don't think there's honestly any shows like that where it's a new episode like every day. It's usually always now once a week. And not even that. Just, and this is kind of something we talked about when we did our interview with our boy Dan,
Damn, who
talking
writing
about,
right now?
yeah, oh, I know, I saw that. I was like, good for you, Dan. You
A
do
boy
your
on that
right.
grind.
um like we talk about like TV's kind of ending and changing how it is, like kind of dying out. um Dude, speaking of Rangers and so just how we talk about like this whole thing, I saw a thing for the first time in 4 years. There's finally a new show premiering on Nickelodeon,
Really?
which to me is crazy because I feel like there's always like, all right, we're doing this show. It lasts for like a season or two. Even if it doesn't work out, well, guess what? Here's like 5 new ones coming at you. So to me, it's like, it's just crazy because, and that just reminded me of like the first, like, or not the first, but like that conversation we had with him about how like the landscape of TV is changing and how we literally, like you just said, we went from like having 3 episodes back to back of Rangers brand new in a week, and then we get that one on a Saturday, you know,
Yeah. And this one
TV's
was just wild, bro. Like this, like when you look back at it, dude, like Rangers was putting out like little like mini arcs all the time.
oh yeah, yeah. And
Like right
especially,
before this, bro. Right before this, real quick. Sorry. Right before
no,
this
go
was the
ahead.
wedding.
Uh-huh.
Like huge. By the way, that's a banger. Read us back to marry Lord Zed somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Oh man, that was cool, man. Thank God. Oh, we coming back on Monday. And we'll just get in the Rangers beat some monster. Oh no. This is the return of the Green Ranger.
Yep.
Like what?
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like it's crazy when you talk about it, right?
But I feel like this is when Rangers in season 2, especially with, I feel once Tommy came back,
Mm-hmm.
and then even, yeah, there was like the whole disruption of like, you know, Jason, Trini, Zach leaving, and the introduction of Stone Canyon Trio. But I still feel like once they got that Stone Canyon Trio, that's when everything started, like the show started getting like serialized. Like here's actual storylines and not just like randomness, like villain of the week episodes. Because I feel like Rangers did that for the longest time. But like now it's like, here we go, like here's some actual stories, and then all these arcs going on.
No, you're right. It's almost like you said, when Zach, Trini, and Jason left,
Mm-hmm.
they were kind of like, okay, we're gonna focus in on the return of this guy.
Yeah.
He's gonna be the overarching person in the story. Basically, that's why he was brought back, right?
Yeah.
Like, um, and man, just even with this episode, there's a lot of things like that I guess I didn't catch so much as a kid
Mm-hmm.
that you catch now, right? and it's right off the back, right? Zed keeps it real right in the very beginning, right, of the first episode of this three-parter. They got to get figure out a way to get the White Ranger away from everyone.
Which is funny because I heard that and all I thought of was instantly when we went back to the power transfer episode
Mm-hmm.
with from Turbo of how Diva Talks' whole thing was like, oh, if I kick out Tommy, the rest will fall super easy. And it's like, yeah, like,
Well, hey, Zed himself, remember in the beginning,
mhm.
I want to get the Green Ranger gone.
Well, that's always been his thing. He's always been about that.
Isn't that a trip? Like
Yeah.
that's always been his thing. And it's just interesting, bro. Like that's how this starts off, right? So he's like, man, who we gonna figure out? Who's gonna help us do this? And Rita's like, let's get the Wizard of Deception. Now, I wish they would have got a little bit more into him
Yeah.
because he didn't, besides doing magic, right? Basically, wizard, right? Zordon lets out that's an old rival.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You hit us with that nugget, which is super interesting because we don't know a ton
Hmm.
about Zordon, really, right? We know that he knows Zed, right?
Yeah.
You know, I wish looking back now, I wish we would have got a little more like,
Oh,
okay, like
yeah.
even like some type of flashback montage.
Uh-huh. Well, because, yeah. And I feel like that line, though, was kind of just not a throwaway, but it's like, hey, we got to have Zordon in here somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because so backstory of how this whole story arc came to be. They filmed this literally at the same time as they were filming the movie.
Isn't that
And
wild?
yeah, because the movie was going over budget, it was going like over production time. So, like, with all that going on, and then they still had to, like we said, episodes were coming out like 3, 4 a week. They were releasing episodes all the time. So they still had to meet that production schedule. So now that's coming up, they're like, oh, well, we got to release some episodes. So thanks to Bulk and Skull, Paul Schrier and Jason Narvy, they kind of spearheaded these episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking back in the book you got me. It wasn't in there, but it is in that remember that, like, there's that video on YouTube that kind of was like a documentary on the movie. It was like that
Mm-hmm.
40, it's like a 45-minute video
Yeah.
with like the director and some of the actors talking about it. And in that video, that's when they talk about when it came out. Like, yeah, these guys, they were like, well, we got to meet this production schedule. Well, hey, why don't we do this? And they came up with the stuff and did it. It's like, well, do you have the suits? Because they had like the TV suits. Do you
Mm-hmm.
have the Green Ranger suit? And they had that in there. Like, all right, well, let's do this. And you know, like, it reminded me how kind of cheap Rangers is.
Mm-hmm.
But like, even in that cheapness, look at the great story they were able to put out.
No, it's just funny, like that. It sounds, that I know that there was like some tough working conditions in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like you have to pivot like as a show or
Mm-hmm.
anything you're doing. Like you have to figure out a way to keep the content going,
Yep.
right? You have to keep the momentum and like and you can tell right the way they shoot things, where they're shooting things. I think you mentioned it.
Mm-hmm.
Was it last week? You said something about, oh look, we outside of the juice bar.
Yeah, like the whole thing, like, it's taking place in class, but it was like the only thing that they had inside the actual classroom was like Miss Appleby telling them, like, all right, guys, here's your assignment for the 3-day weekend. And it was like Rocky and Billy were like the only ones in the class. And so I feel like that was probably, if you go back and watch Rangers, I'm sure somewhere that's footage from another episode.
Mm-hmm.
Because then it goes to them outside, and it's like, hey, they're outside of the school, this whole
Because
thing.
this is what Rangers does, right, Marcus?
Yeah. Hey, it's like Minkus, dog, like I said. Yeah, I was over on the other side of the school. Oh, okay.
That's a big
um
school.
yeah, and so it's like now they're outside instead of just hanging out like at the juice bar or like just in the hallway by the lockers, you know
Yeah, it's just funny, bro. When you think about it, like
Hmm.
some of
Well,
these little things.
even that, and what I was originally meant to talk about with Zordon, and like how that was possibly like a not a throwaway line, but just like a filler to make sure, hey, Zordon and Alpha are in this episode. If you look, when the Green Ranger, the evil green clone Tommy, gets his coin and goes to the command center, bro, that's footage from Green with Evil.
Oh, I know. We can.
And then
We'll talk more about that because there's other ones, the other parts I saw later too.
yeah, and it's like, and so it's like there's parts with him like going in there, and then he leaves, because obviously then just it's another clip of the Green Ranger talking in the command center, but then
Yeah,
there's another shot where you see, and it's clearly from Green with Evil because all like the buttons and the panels of the command
the
center are
same way.
they're all messed up, like
Well, and you can say the
destroyed.
same. You can say the same with Dragon Zord.
Yeah, exactly. And then you come, and then like literally Zordon talks again, then cuts to Alpha, and everything's like back together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
like
yeah,
it's the same thing. And that's the way they did a lot of things, right? Like,
yep.
hey, like that transfer of power episode where we got Rocky and them, they
Hmm.
weren't all shot together. A lot of those were put together parts.
Yeah.
Um, but anyways, like, so the whole plan of this is we got to get a lock of hair, right? The wizard needs
Yeah.
a lock of hair from Tommy, you know, so then he can make a clone.
Hmm.
Okay. He does this right away. He got that green bandana.
Right.
He got that scowl on his face. Hey guys, can you meet me?
Hey, and he put that like weed in his mouth. He's just like, yeah. That's how you know he was like a bad dude. Because wasn't that
Mm-hmm.
like a thing in the 90s? All the bad guys, like in like all kids shows, would have
We're
like a
chewing
tooth.
on something.
Yeah, they have like a toothpick they've taken like,
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, I laughed so hard. I was like, gosh dang it.
It's like Scarface, bro.
Right?
Scarface
Yeah,
had a toothpick all the time.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Um, but it's funny because then like he comes in.
Hmm.
Here comes this wizard dude who looks straight out of Mortal Kombat with long
Mortal
black hair
Kombat and
though.
Spirit Halloween.
Yeah, and I need to look it up. Was this around the time of Scream?
No, this would have predated Scream because I think Scream was 97.
The first one?
Uh-huh. I
Was
believe it
it?
was 97.
I don't remember.
So this would have been
Oh,
95.
December 96.
Oh, okay.
So this predated Scream. That's interesting.
Yeah, with the whole
Because
cloak
like
and the mask.
this Marcus, if I'm correct, Wizard of Deception isn't Sentai.
No, there was the only Sentai footage ever used in these episodes were like with the battle between Dragon Zord and the Thunder Megazord.
Hey, and you mean the same thing of his eyes flashing red and he bites the same thing every time?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
Oh,
it's
and
the
that
same
same
drill
footage of
around those
him
same buildings
coming out of the like lake, and
every
then
time.
yeah, messing
Hey,
up with
but no,
those
but the
construction
drill
workers.
on those buildings, the
Yep.
drill on the buildings, dude. If I'm those people from the buildings, I'm like, we just rebuilt this. Like we just fixed this.
Right.
This just came up.
Dude, real estate it must be cheap to live in Angel Grove, I feel
Mm-hmm.
like it must be so cheap. Yeah, we
Gotta
got
be
monster
right.
battles.
Like they must have like a heck of a deal like
Uh-huh.
going on here.
But we just fixed this. What? But yeah,
We
this is also, I
just fixed this.
believe too. This is also, speaking of Dragonzord, this is the last time we see Dragonzord too.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like Dragonzord is technically still around.
sure.
I mean, I'm just saying. Like, I know, hey, don't
He's
get me
at
wrong.
Collins Lake, bro. 5-year-old, 6-year-old Richard thinks he's at Collins Lake still.
Hey, bro. Well, guess what? 5-year-old Richard, he would have popped up about like what, 5, 6, almost a decade ago when it was all low, droughting and everything, and you could see
Yeah.
those lines of where the water used to be. You would have saw him.
He was
Dragonzord
wading in
at
the
you.
water.
What you doing, Dragonzord? What you doing, dog?
Oh, you know. That's all you hear. Oh, you know. Wait, what?
But yeah,
But what I like about this part right here is, here comes the wizard, and they're like, Kimberly's like, Tommy, what's going on? And I love it. Rocky shows some character when he goes, he's turns on us. That's what. pissed. But think about it like this. This is why I thought it was interesting. I said this to you last night.
Mm-hmm.
They're so new with each other
Mm-hmm.
as friends, right?
Yeah.
That Rocky doesn't know. If you think about it from that line, Rocky doesn't really know the history. Us,
Mm-hmm.
us as fans, because we haven't seen it, we haven't
Yeah.
been given or fed it, right? Because as a
Mm-hmm.
fan, we're the consumer; they feed us, right?
Yes.
We haven't been fed that they know about Tommy's like past stuff,
True.
and
We
they're from a
don't.
different high school. And as far as I know, which is weird based off Power Rangers, especially this, all shit only happens in Angel Grove.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stone Canyon has no idea what's going on.
No.
The rest of the world doesn't either, I guess. Even though the World Peace Conference suddenly picks 3 teams from Angel Grove.
But that was a lie. So
I know. But
yeah.
anyways,
But that's
like,
comic stuff. But
yeah.
no, yeah, that was I thought either like looking at that, like I was like, either he somehow knew like the history, like they got debriefed on stuff, maybe, you know, like but like you said, we don't know because they don't show us that.
Yeah, like we don't know, bro.
So it's one of those things that's like, well, does he know from like, okay, well, this is just Ranger history? And wait, wasn't there like a Green Ranger, whatever happened, like an evil one, in passing? And it's like, well, yeah, that was me. That's how I started. I was evil. We don't know anything about that. But then, dude, when I saw that, dude, Rocky was ready to throw down, bro.
Well, I just thought it was interesting. Like he kept it 100 with them of like,
Yeah,
okay, like he's turning on us.
Rocky
And
was just straight
he
like,
don't know any better.
yeah, no, he doesn't.
Like he really doesn't. They're so new with each other. Like, bro, I swear Rocky was wearing an outfit from the movie.
Probably,
Or they're wearing the same outfits from the beginning.
yeah,
Adam looked like he was wearing the same outfit from when they debuted.
probably.
White shirt, black vest,
Mm-hmm.
which is the same outfit they got on in Power Rangers, the movie video game.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hey,
Isn't that
man.
a trip when you think about it? Like,
Hey, we gotta hit that wardrobe. We need like costume department for it. Well, you don't, but you can just use these from the movie. Okay.
oh wait, Zach wore a black vest too. Oh,
Well, dude, speaking of, it's something I noticed too, which is kind of cool. Because it's not an Easter egg at all. But when we talk about like evil clone Tommy wearing the
mhm.
green bandana, his shirt had like literally all the future colors that he would have. Because it like
Oh
the
yeah.
stripes on there, it was white, red, black, green. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
I mean, yeah, I don't think that was planned.
No, it's not planned at all. But I'm just saying, like, it was just cool how, like, oh, dang, those are like all his Ranger colors eventually. But I
Flannel
thought
was
that
in,
was,
by the way.
huh?
Flannel was in,
Oh,
by the way.
100%. And it's back again.
Oh yeah. It's just funny, right? This is how this world works, right?
Yep.
Like all this stuff. But I just thought that part from Rocky was funny. Like
Yeah.
he's turning on us. The Green Ranger's there. Um, and then he trips out, right? This episode, they send the Rangers back in time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's funny because it's witches, right? Like, oh no, they're a witch. We gotta hang them.
Bro,
Um,
I thought it was hilarious and kind of like, oh, okay. Like, Billy was the one saying, like, yeah, anyone that's different, they say was a witch. I'm like, and looking back in how we know about how things were for him and about him, and it's
mm-hmm.
like, oh, uh-huh. Yeah, you different, huh, Billy?
Now my man's shooting out there, live microphone. But yeah, like I
I
just
ain't
think it's
shooting much.
interesting.
But yeah, that
I thought
was
that was interesting, and the way the episode ends is real interesting. Like Tommy's like, what? Like there's
yeah,
like a clone. The way they morphed was interesting, by the way,
yeah,
because like, all right, we're about to fight. Cool, let's go side by side and morph.
yeah. I always said like, why is and I think that's like too, like I think that's been a meme for some time now of like the villains. Oh, the Power Rangers are morphing. The villains just like, all right, let me stand here. I'm just gonna
Mm-hmm.
stand here and watch them do their thing. Let them, get their morph and then do their little poses after and their little yells and all that
I
stuff.
lost my mind though when they were battling as a kid.
Oh, because it's so sick. Green Ranger
Oh,
versus White Ranger,
who would ever thought?
right? And I think that's the part about it that made it seem so like big,
Mm-hmm.
was that it's like you literally have like the two most popular Rangers right now.
Oh, for sure, bro.
But it's like, and it's kind of like duking it out to see who's gonna win and like who's the most powerful. And let's be real, dog. I think by the end of the time, like Green Ranger got that win.
It's a weird win though. Like
Yeah.
he literally, I think what Tommy openly was like weak.
Well, because they were saying that whole time that like because he there was a clone of him, it was like draining his power because two people like can't exist on the same time.
Mm-hmm. That's why I
So,
was like, is this is like it's a little different. Like
mhm.
I don't know if it's a real win. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
but
I
dude, they
don't know.
had
I don't know
Tommy
if it's
over
a
there
real
walking
win.
like he was drunk and stuff. Like
They did have Tommy
he was
walking
like,
like he was drunk.
like
Oh,
stumbling
that's
on
so
the
funny.
steps and all that, like collapse. I'm like, dang, Tommy.
You're right. They did have him like he was drunk. He was. That's what's funny. You're right. That he was like all tore up,
Mm-hmm.
but
Brother
I
was
mean,
stumbling.
it was a fun battle too initially, right?
Mm-hmm. Because they're just matching each other.
Oh yeah, and it was good that they had like two things going on at once, right?
Yeah.
They had all these things going on, and I found this part really interesting, especially like I think we talked about we learned later is they end up having the right because they bust out rats, right? People hate
Yeah.
rats.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they hate rats. So they bust out the rats. And if I'm correct, Marcus, weren't the rats we just talked about this last week?
Yep.
The rats are supposed to be what is the name of those, Marcus? The like Zeds, like I guess you'd call it like kids.
The foot soldiers.
Yeah.
Not Zed for Ivan.
Yeah, Ivan, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Instead, like the Oozmen, they were supposed to be rats.
Yeah. Isn't that a trip?
Yeah.
Like, and they got to finally use them,
Yeah. Because they
right?
had them. Like, dude, that's literally like a hey, we're taking all the stuff that we already have or that's available to us, and we're gonna use it for this like 3-part episode.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that a trip?
Yeah.
Like I keep thinking that too. I'm like, dang, this is like,
And what's interesting to me was that like one in this whole like arc, the only morph we actually really got was Tommy versus Tommy, and then the Rangers once they got pulled back to their current time for the Megazord. Like there was
yeah,
no morphs. And to me, I thought it was interesting too, because it was like what's like when the rats were there, they're like, I forgot who it was. It was it's probably Rocky. Because Rocky was always the one down to fight. He was like, it's either him or Adam. They're like, we should fight them. And I want to say it was Rocky because Adam is all like love struck right now with
I was
Homegirl.
gonna say he was all about this chick.
Uh-huh. And like he all about her, but like Adam's all love struck right now, but Rocky's like, we should fight him. And Billy's like, no, we can't fight him. We don't know what they're capable of. They're rats. they're just big rats. Why don't you get like you're in this like kind of not farm town, but it's very more agricultural, and I'm sure there's probably a giant pitchfork or not a giant pitchfork, but just a pitchfork in general, just taking him. But then again, it's a kid show.
Yeah, I mean, it
Well,
is a
I'm just
kid show.
saying, like, it's kind of like a, oh god, it's a giant rat. Hey, we have all this equipment, so we could just use this. Like, we can't morph, but I mean, we can use this pitchfork as a weapon. There's probably a scythe here, to cut that grain. Why don't we just, you know?
To cut that grain, he said.
I'm, I'm just saying, like, hey,
Marcus, you crack me up, bro. What the heck? Cut that grain?
what, dude? I'm just saying, like, they had stuff there, bro, that they could have used.
Probably.
Dude, they had muskets.
All right, dog.
I'm
All
sorry, they
right.
had muskets and or bayonets because they had the little sword thing at the tip. I'm just saying, they didn't think to like, oh, let's
But
just have these and shoot them.
But isn't it normal for people to like right away be like, "Oh crap, it's a, a rat," and they kind of like don't know what to do at first?
Kill it.
Yeah, but what if they don't know that? They just are like, "Oh man, what the heck? Like I
Uh,
don't know what to do."
I
No?
don't know.
Like am I crazy to
I
think that?
hey, I know. I mean, yeah, I guess some people freeze, but
Like
this
right
whole
away
thing
they're
of like
like, what do I do? Especially too like if I'm didn't they all have like a fear or some of them have a fear of rats?
just Aisha,
Okay, so she hated rats.
and she was the only one that was like vocal about it. Like Bulk's ancestor dude was over here like, oh, yeah, my rats or something like that. Yeah,
My rats.
I don't know if he said my rats, but I'm just saying. But he just like laughed at it, like, oh yeah, those are rats. Like, and him and like Adam's homegirl just like laughed about it.
Okay.
But
Well, I
also, I'm like,
mean,
you know, they laughing at you, Aisha. You're not welcome.
wow. Okay. The heck? I got a little dark there. All right. Maybe, who knows? Like, honestly, I just think that it wasn't, I don't know. Okay, it's kind of like whatevs. Like, yeah. But the rats I thought were a good villain, personally.
Yeah,
You didn't think
this
that,
thing.
did you think they were good?
I thought like at the time, I remember being like, oh dang, that is kind of. But looking back now, I'm like, y'all just scared of these little rats. I mean, I know they big, but it's also like I just thought it was weird how they didn't even try to fight them. That's just the only thing I thought that was weird about it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess things are just different, right?
Yeah,
It's tough. Like, I agree with you. I don't think you're wrong. I think they should have too, but I mean, what do you do? I don't know. That I thought it was interesting though, because like they had them right. He found this girl. I still thought that was interesting. Like that's the first thing I guess we have him for. I guess you'd say Adam is
kind of.
that
Yeah,
he's gonna he wants this girl. Like what's up,
dude.
girl?
Hey, you just got transported back like 200 plus years into the past. Come
And
on
this
with
is
me.
what you want.
Homie's just like, come with us. She's like, what?
How sick is that?
Adam, Adam, like my dude.
My guy was like, yeah, what's up, girl?
He's like, I found what I want. Come with me.
He's gonna go like, what was it? Oh gosh, it was during that Bay Area time when Bay Area music was hecka cool. He had to hit her with that. I'm about to make it rain with these stacks by the pound. And she's like, what? She mean,
Dude, for real. He was like, come. He straight told her, come with me.
come with me.
Right?
I
Like,
mean, yeah, like that's what we just.
hey, Adam was working on that Riz at this time, dude. This was a good time for Adam.
He was though, and this what's funny is when I watched that, I was like, dude, this is why Marcus loves this guy, and right off the bat, Marcus is like, look at this dude. He don't even care, bro. He's shooting his shot. I can't go back with you. Nah, girl, you can go back. You can
Right?
go back whenever you want.
And then he just all and then like just like he remind me of Sad Pete. Remind me of our boy Pete.
Oh, why?
Because he just wanted this girl the whole time. He just wanted the girl. And then like he's all bumming and everything, like when they get back, like and like, oh, he missed her. And then all of a sudden, hey, it's her like descendant who looks exactly like her. And all of a sudden he just like, yeah. Like,
This sad Pete.
right? He had him, dog.
Oh man. Shout outs to Pete and Sarah. The cookies were great. Thanks, guys. Uh they were great. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Then we finally got the battle, right? We got the
Hmm.
battle again, Tommy, they got him powered up, charged up, I'd call it. And then they brought the Rangers back, and of course they win, right? Of course they bring it back and they start winning again. Um, what did you think though? Because they got Tommy's clone, right, to see the
Hmm.
good and they're all good together. He makes the comments, like you said, rest, old friend, or something like that to Dragon Zord, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, like you said, he's just chilling down there still.
Just waiting.
So he stayed behind.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. I got questions about this now.
All right. Let's hit
He
it.
stayed behind, dog. So he's behind. And what he just like he just a Power Ranger staying behind now. Like he got
Well,
he's still the Green Ranger, but he allowed to stay behind.
that's the thing too. I always thought about you. I remember. I'm pretty sure you'll remember this conversation. So back in the comics, when they brought back the Green Ranger and he had like the
Mm-hmm.
bat in the sun suit that they did, like the
Mm-hmm.
new one. So it's like on like a team of 7 now, and the whole
Yeah.
thing was like, oh, who is this Green Ranger? Um, I remember telling you, I was like, dude, it would be so sick if they made it Tommy's clone, Tom. Like he was somehow back in the future. Like he made his way to the future. He came back, had to come back for something, but then he eventually turns into Draken.
Ooh.
Because it's always something. Because I always feel like, dude, that Draken thing, such a good storyline, such a good villain. And I'm just like, it'd be so sick if it's like, hey man, Draken's almost inevitable,
Mm-hmm.
and there's always a way of making a Draken or Draken becoming a reality. Um, and plus, dude, the whole thing of like two Tommies, I thought that would have been like super interesting. But yeah, he's kind of just there hanging out in the past. I'm pretty sure he still has his powers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's because he's like turning into like using his powers to like, I mean, he magically created like that little like freaking like Ben Franklin hat. Like, hey,
And that's the thing, bro. Like that right there, Marcus. That's one of the reasons I'm like something more had to be
bro, homie got
with
that
him.
super clean, just like ever like that green outfit. Like, hey, plus still had his earrings in.
Yeah.
Which I caught, which was like to me, like I get it's the 90s. That was like a big, especially 95. 95 was
Yeah.
when piercings and tattoos exploded.
Uh-huh.
But I'm still just like, dang, homie over here just like keeping like the earring too. Like, and then he's still just like, boom, hat, little green
Oh, for
electricity
sure.
comes up. And so I was thinking, and they're like, yo, and the town just freaking loves him.
Like out of nowhere, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so
I
to
know.
me, I was like, I've always thought, like, yeah, I guess he does sort of keep his powers, and that's like there's a Green Ranger there. Or maybe I always thought too, and this is what come came up in my mind. Um, is he like technically, even though he's a clone of Tommy, is he now a descendant of Tommy? And this gets back to like that whole thing we were talking about last episode. Like, wasn't if Tommy was like an orphan or something? Like, because I swear they had a thing where he was like Tommy was like an orphan or just lived with family. Like he didn't have parents. I don't
I
know.
don't know. That's interesting, right? Like I don't know.
But yeah, because I just thought of like because I remember I think it was a Batman comic where Batman got like sent back in time and he was like
Yeah.
stuck there. And so literally he just impregnates all these women down the line to make sure that he would eventually one day be born. So he's in a sense his own ancestor,
Yeah.
but then like that current version of himself gets sent back in time. So it's like this weird like cycle loop thing, which is technically what happens here with Tommy in a sense. Like Tom is back in the old days now. He might be one of Tommy's long lost ancestors. Like we saw that with like Bulk and Skull, like their ancestors there. So
Yeah.
that looked just
Yeah.
like him. So I don't know, man. Pretty interesting.
Interesting though, right? Like it's super
Yeah.
interesting, I think too. Uh yeah, just I don't know. I was like, okay, you still got powers, dog. Like you're allowed to just
Mhm.
go and be Green Ranger in the old days. So like in the 18th century, there's a Power Ranger. Are you you know what I mean? You could go down a rabbit hole, bro.
You can, but then also I feel like then oh god, and now like you said rabbit hole, but this just popped in my head. If he is the Green Ranger, wouldn't that that means eventually Rita would have gotten the coin back from him somehow.
Yeah.
She would have had to, because if he stayed there as the Green Ranger, that would have created a paradox. Because then when Tommy goes back, he shouldn't have been the White Ranger because he should have never been the Green Ranger in the first place.
Unless
Unless
she
Rita,
purposely went after the descendant.
exactly. And maybe that descendant got killed by Rita, and that's why he wasn't the Green Ranger from the comics, and it was instead that guy Matt. I
Maybe.
don't know.
Who knows?
Did we just
Sounds
come
like
up with
we
the
took
whole
L.
thing?
Sounds like we took LSD. But anyways,
Giant
yeah, right.
rocks.
I know. And it's just funny. The ending. Let's talk about the ending real quick because I'm like, oh, but of course, this is Power Rangers, right? Uh, something falls, goes to help the girl or goes to help him, and who is it? Old girl from Thing, her
Right?
descendant, right?
Yeah.
And Homeboy
And
just
Adam
got a big
just
old smile.
he grinning. He about to be winning.
When you grin, you win.
Hmm.
And that's exactly what he was about to do. He's like, oh shoot, I'm finna win. But
Yep.
I will say, like initially, it does seem like they're starting to try to give Aisha, Rocky, and Adam some like lines,
Oh, 100%.
you know, and I feel like they almost get more lines than the others this one, besides Tommy.
I feel like the one who was really kind of, I don't want to say pushed to the side, but like the one that had the least amounts was probably Billy.
Yes. Remember I told you that I had read something about like Billy basically, you know, um wanted more like time, like lines, made a
Hmm.
comment, and I think that's probably why.
Yeah.
It's probably why he wanted it because he wasn't getting it,
Yeah. But
you
then it's
know.
also it's kind of hard too, because when you think about it, like I could see why they would kind of put more shine on Stone Canyon
Mhm.
because they're new.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
People,
right.
so it's kind of like, yeah, they're stepping in, and it's like, well, we got to make sure that our fans are invested in them too, you know, because
Mhm.
Billy, Kimberly, and Tommy, of course, they're the OGs, especially Billy and Kimberly. They're day ones. Um, but so I was wondering if maybe that's why, like, in these episodes, they were kind of getting that more like, because Billy only came in with like a few things here and there,
Mhm.
but like, um, and then they already have like Aisha, dude, totally like, honestly, she felt to me like just another kind of version of Kimberly in a sense. Like, yeah, we're
Initially,
gonna go
yeah.
shopping and we're gonna go do this and all that.
And I think a lot of that, Marcus, had to do with they knew that works.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think they knew that works. The Kimberly model worked, bro.
100%.
But and it's weird because like I think you needed your Trinis in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like Trini got more love, bro. I think after, and I'm not saying it's because of her death or anything like that.
No,
I think
100%.
she got more love after because as people grow up, they relate to her more.
Well, you know what it is, because it's the balance. And I heard somebody talk about this too with uh like female rap right now. How
Mm-hmm.
that's real. They all talk about like twerking and just sex and all this shit. It's
Uh
all the
huh.
same stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
But back in the day, they're like, well, that's nothing new. We've obviously had that with like the Lil Kims, the Foxy Browns. But at the same time, you had like the Queen Latifahs, the MC Lights. So you had these other female MCs that kind of balanced them out. And now, so I think with that, it was kind of like with the Trini and Kimberly thing, there was like, yeah, you have like the girly girl, but then you have the other one that's like smart, um, you know, down to fight and all that. So it brings a sort of balance.
Yeah.
But I feel like
You're right.
also though, even though like Kimberly was always the girly girl, by here though, she is turning more into like a fighter.
Yeah, she's definitely stepped up, I guess you'd say,
Mm-hmm.
on these ones. I don't know if it's because like she has to,
Uh-huh.
but she has for sure. You're right. You're not wrong about that. I think she stepped up a ton too. Um, and Aisha is like kind of getting her footing, you would say.
Yeah.
Like she's definitely getting her footing on like what's gonna be, I guess, her role, right?
Yeah.
Like her role in the company, or excuse me, in the show.
No, you right. Hey, let's real win the company.
Yeah, like because that's what kind of what it is, right? Like
It
it's the
is
company, bro.
100%.
Like of what the show's gonna be, dude. Like everyone has their footing, and like they're trying to figure out these guys' footing. Like, Adam's the most more quirky guy already.
Yeah.
Billy's not so quirky anymore from like the early days.
Yeah.
You know, Billy's changed a ton. He's like, especially now with this new, I guess you'd say the three new ones. Billy has taken on more of a wise man role.
Yeah. It was because he was always like the, oh, I could probably do this in my lab and work on this. But by here, he's really is that like role that he basically this was
Keeps.
literally I feel like the precursor to what he was in Cosmic Fury.
It's also what he did in Zio.
Yeah.
Like this is his role.
Yeah. He's that smart dude that's just gonna come in and be like, all right, this is what we gotta do. Do
Like
it.
mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It was good. It was a good arc though. Like it was like a big deal.
It was.
It was like a big deal, bro. Like to think of like, man, you get Tiger Sword versus Dragon Sword, like White Ranger versus Green Ranger, like,
Mm-hmm.
and then they were smart too, bro. Like, um, there's been so many packs released during this time period of White Ranger and Green Ranger.
Yep.
Did you know that?
Yeah. That gold that gold team, or the team gold they called it.
Yes, Team Gold. And what's crazy about that, like box art,
Mm-hmm.
I guess you call it, from back in the day, that's like the movie box art,
Yeah, it
you
is.
know?
Which would make sense because if we're seeing these two together, this is the same time production's going on the movie.
Yeah.
They're probably like,
And
hey, just throw these out there. Guess what? It's gonna sell.
yeah, because it's in a like a gray. Wow, it looks sick. Like it's expensive. It goes for a lot on the market, like the
Oh, I know. I've
secondary market now.
I've seen.
And it's I like how it says on the box, team leader for the last 2 years.
Letting y'all know. Letting y'all know who y'all dealing with.
Isn't that funny?
Tommy Oliver.
Team leader for the last 2 years,
If there
Marcus.
were any doubts,
To
if there were
this
any
day,
questions,
to this day,
team leader.
don't you ever disrespect. Don't ever think different.
Mm-mm. No, no, no. Not on
Because
that good boy Tommy
and they
Oliver.
even released the flip heads version.
Yeah.
They released the 8-inch and the flip heads. How sick is that? By the way, a White Ranger flip head is rare.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
I don't remember it really.
I don't either. I wish I did. Not to like sell, but like just to have to put in my collection.
Oh yeah.
I would want one that's not yellowed, not
Mm-hmm.
yellowing.
Good luck. Good
Yeah,
luck.
yeah.
Very good luck.
I know because even the whites on the flip heads in general, like their boots are yellow a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, dog, like I'll never forget this art. It was a big deal.
Oh yeah.
Huge deal to me. You got anything else?
No, dude, I think really to me um it kind of showed to me almost how I don't want to say easy it could be to make like a ranger thing, but
What does that
like
mean? What does that mean?
well just like fit like your own stuff. Like to film your own ranger stuff. Um and just because like dude, and just how easy it was to make a show, make an episode. Because it's
Yeah.
like, hey, dude, if Bulk and Skull could come in and do this, besides,
Those
yeah, oh,
Sorry.
bless it.
Sorry,
Like,
man.
there's some noticeable, like, yeah, but we're not paying attention to this, like, like the command center stuff being messed up in one shot, and then literally the next second later, everything's fine. Um, it's just like, dude, they had a whole Megazord battle without the Megazords touching each other. When you think about it,
Yeah.
that's and to me, I'm like, that's so it's so kind of cool, but then yeah, I don't know. I just liked that to me, I'm like, it came across as like, if I wanted to do something like this, I probably could.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I don't see why you can't, but it's
Yeah.
hard because you have to have the actors, right? Like you have to have
Oh yeah, no,
actors, you have to
no,
have scripts.
yeah,
Like there's a ton of stuff that's involved. Like those all those people were under contracts.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you had all that stuff, I think you could do it for sure.
Oh yeah. But yeah, no,
What?
dude, this is great.
Yeah, no, it was sick. That's literally that stuff is like the childhood, bro. Like this, like all of that is what I would want. I want
Mm-hmm.
from this things. All right, man. Let's see. Go follow us on Instagram.
Yep.
Go follow us on Threads. Follow us on X. Go subscribe on YouTube. And anything else?
Nah, dude. That's it. We still got that, we still got that giveaway.
Yeah, yeah, we do.
We still got that
We gotta talk
giveaway.
about that off air. But yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
But anyway, it's Rangers of the Grid. It's Richard. It's Marcus. It's the Green versus White Ranger. We got it. Grocery bag.